Okay, here is our speaking frame grid, and notice that it's a fairly basic grid. The most important thing here is the need to understand there's a reason to speak. For any trainee, they need to have a reason to speak really clearly in the forefront of their mind, and in this case our trainee is out on workplace experience and suddenly he sees, oh, maybe that this timber we're using, I don't know if all of it's treated. Now in the theoretical framework and all the different flow charts on the walls of different organizations and companies, it might say if you see something, go and tell the foreman. But as you sit with your trainees in the classroom and you elicit the processes, in fact, this is when you discover the difference between theory and reality, and you're really getting a good idea of what your trainees would do. In fact, most of us would first check in with our workmates. As we look at the process with the learners, they'll say lots of different things, and we are able to then summarize the process for them on the whiteboard in this kind of grid. As you see, if I can find my little arrow here, I've got a start, middle and an end. I think it's important to put across that concept that any kind of oral interaction does have a beginning, a middle and an end, and it is just a nice way of getting your trainees to think, I can be in control of my conversation. I kind of know I'm going to start something, there'll be a middle process, and even if the end is as simple as saying thank you, that's a good way to round it off. Body language and attitude is a really interesting one. If your trainees are teenagers or younger people, maybe they're used to only working with their own body language or their own attitude, talking through what it is going to actually look like when they talk to the foreman or the boss about this issue. It's a great thing to get them visualizing it. Do they need confidence to speak up? What will that confidence look like, feel like, sound like? The sound like part comes into what do they say exactly. This can end up looking like something fairly generic in terms of what they're going to say, and perhaps can just involve quite a lot of discussion. But on the other hand, you could script it. Why not? It may be that some of your trainees have never really thought about what to say exactly. Remember way back when we were growing up and our parents would say to us, now when you leave your grandparents' place, remember to say thank you, and don't forget to perhaps, so they give examples, and we need training. We need training for what to say exactly. Perhaps we get to say something like, Bill, do you have a minute? There's a bit of an issue, I think. This is going to be helpful for your learners, I think so. You might have other examples. Is the foreman there to talk to if he's not around? Cheers. Maybe reminding them that they could introduce themselves and, they're on work experience. Who are you again? Looking through of how to actually outline the issue and a nice end. The ending here could involve suggesting something. Shall we wait for the replacement order? What do we do as we wait for it? Can we take the untreated stuff off? So helping your learners to think that part of the speaking process could also be making a suggestion to fix things up or help things along. As you go through the whole speaking frames process, you will be making decisions on what kind of things you may need to teach them really specifically. It could be that it goes from role play just discussion might be enough. A lot of the YouTube clips, there's a lot out there. You could show something on how to talk about an issue. I'm sure there's something out there on YouTube. If not, they could make one themselves and load it up on how to report things, how to discuss things. One of the really important parts too is using the vocabulary linked to this. As you're talking through it, I would suggest having a big sheet of paper or another part of the whiteboard where you're popping up all the technical or specialised words that they may need to use. It may be that your learners have never used these words in a conversation. They may have seen them in the workbook, but here we are, needing to use them. So, in summary, lots of discussion about each of these processes, a little bit of scripting and visualization about how they are going to talk these things through, and very useful, very useful. Speaking frames can be applied to anything.